everybody, it's your girl Lexi Lou with Sunny Side Up, and we are back again. We're gonna get in today about some a very deep story that I kind of have touched on basis with some people and kind of got out there a little bit, but I want to get more into depth about it. So let's get into it. So, many of you know that I was homeless. I was actually homeless 2 points in my life, but this last time was like the one that really like affected me the most. That was kind of like, all right, you need to do something different. So I was, I want to say back in 2022. Yeah, 2022. I was living with a friend and we were like super close. And we started, sometimes you're meant to be friends, but you're not meant to live together. But I was going through a situation, she was going through a situation. We both had kids that are the same age. So we're like, let's move in together. We can help each other. Yeah, that's not how it went at all. It was good for the first couple months, and then stuff started hitting the fan, and it ended up coming down to that it was just best that we did not live together. So with that being said, we ended up getting into some fights, about money and other things. With that being said, she ended up kicking me out, and I had my daughter at the time. And at this point, like I said, I was homeless before, so this was my second time being homeless. But this time was different because it was I literally had nowhere to go, nowhere, no one to call. Have you ever been in those situations where it's just so bad, and when you go to your phone and call somebody, you don't even know who to call because you really don't even know who's gonna pick up? And actually, that's where it was. And I had officially reached my rock bottom. I was oh my God, I'm homeless, and this time I'm dead ass homeless, sleeping on my car. Car is packed to the top. Oh, I wish I could find some pictures. Packed to the top with all my stuff. I had a storage unit filled with my stuff, all this crazy stuff. And this time I was that homeless, and I was with my daughter as well, who was 2 or 3 at the time. And that was really hard because being homeless and then being a mother at the same time, it was I really felt like I reached rock bottom, not only because it was something that I was going through, but I was putting my kid through the experience as well. And I just felt like I failed her at that point. It just really hurt, and I just didn't really know what to do. So, after a couple days, thinking or whatever, I choked down a big one. Ooh, a big one that a mother never really wants to do. But my living situation was not stable. At this point, I was, kind of bouncing back and forth between people's houses and kind of just sleeping on whoever's couch would let us. It got so bad to the point that I was just I can't keep putting my child through this. As much as I love her and much as I don't want her anywhere else but by my side, I was this is not good for her. And I decided to call up her dad, and I was hey, this is the situation. I really need you to take her. I can't. And that was the hardest decision I had to make. But I had to take myself and my emotions out of the situation and think about truly just about her. And at the time, that was the best decision for her. And he met up with me, I gave him to her, and we met in a gas station parking lot. And I sat in that gas station parking lot for about a good 40 minutes just crying, because I was just at this point I was what am I doing with my life? I feel I keep going in these circles, and I keep getting these same results. What is going on? I have to do something differently. But what? In the 2 years I did not have my daughter. it was hard. It was struggle at the store. Like, going home, no, like, I would see her on, you know, I would get her a couple days out of the week, kind of thing, hang out with her. Sometimes I couldn't keep her overnight because I didn't have a place to keep her overnight, or it wasn't safe, or just because I had to work. I was working so much that I was just like, I would only get her a couple days out of the month. And as a mother, like, you don't understand how much that, like, ate at me. Like, because I'm a good mom. I know I'm a good mom. So, like, that, even I give myself grace now, because it's like, even in that situation, I could have been selfish. I could have been like, no, that's my kid. She's gonna stay and go through this with me. But, like, when I really sat down and, like I said, put my feelings aside and really thought about her, it's like, that's not fair to her when she has another parent who is stable enough to take care of her right now. And that's what I did. So after that, I really just, like, after I gave her up, I had found, like, this little hotel that was not far from my job. And, you know, I was paying, you know, weekly to live in this hotel, to the point it was like too much. It was almost more expensive to live in a hotel than it was an apartment. So I was just like, okay, I got to figure something out. And I did everything. I reached out to people. I got a second job, and I was just like, what is going on? Like, why can't I get out of this hole? And then it hit me. You're trying to do all these things by yourself, and not only by myself, but, like, with the mindset of, like, it was not the greatest. Like, instead of trying to, like, I had to literally, like, really sit down with myself and just, like, okay, I need to come up with a plan, because that was the thing. I never had a plan. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this, but I never said, like, set goals. And, like, I'm gonna do this within this amount of time. I'm gonna do this in this amount of time. And, like, the more and more I did that, like, I slowly started looking back, and I'm like, oh my God, things are changing. I also, another thing I did was I got really close to God. I started getting closer to God. I'm closer to him now, but at that time I was kind of like, you know, dipping my toes back in, kind of like, you know, people were just like, oh, pray about it, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, okay. But, like, then I started praying, and, like, in the midst of this, like, me being homeless, I was just, like, asking God to give me signs, you know, remove any people that are around me that are holding me back, that aren't supposed to be helping me. And I just kind of went home one day, and or the hotel, and I just kind of just sat down, and, like I said, I wrote all these plans about what I want to do. Like, I wanted to have my own place, and I wanted to have a car, and, you know, all this. And when this all happened, I had a Taurus, a 1998 Taurus, okay? I was born in 1998, so it was about the same age as I was. And so, like, I had set all these goals for myself, and I was like, I want a new car, I want a new place, and I just subconsciously, when you make those goals for yourself and you look at them every day, you start doing things to get to them, and you don't even realize it. It's like one day you don't have them, and then you blink and you do, and it's like, whoa, how fast did that happen? Like, it's crazy. It really is crazy. Like, once I kind of took myself out of the poor me and the pity me thing, it started to help me, because I started, when you're in a state of, you know, of pity, or you're just like, oh, poor me, why me, whatever, it makes you, even if people are giving you the right advice, it, in a sense, subconsciously, you tune it out, because you're so focused on what's going on in your life that you're not even trying to hear what other people say. It's okay to feel sad and, you know, angry and let down. Feel all those emotions. Don't shy away from those emotions. But don't let those emotions control you. Because the more you sit in those emotions, the more you're pulling yourself back from getting to that end result. Like, you have to allow yourself to be sad a couple days, but then you gotta, like, all right, I gotta get back on my shit. Like, I can't keep, you know, sitting around being sad, because sitting around sad, you're gonna stay sad. You're not gonna be able to like I said, get the results that you want. Being homeless, like, I was super ashamed about talking about that. Like, I did not want to tell anyone because, you know, it's just like that guilt, that embarrassment, that shame. You feel like, oh, I'm homeless. I don't want to tell anybody. So I got over that point where I was like, oh, I'm scared. I was like, now I'm in the position where I've been through that. I've lived through that. And I was homeless for like 2 years. And that was in 2022. And here we now are in 2024. And I, like I said, am in my own place because I set these goals that I wanted for my life. And then I started doing little things at a time that later gave me that end result. When you're everything else in your life, like your budgeting or your house or your car, or just everything else outside your mindset is chaotic, it's gonna make up here chaotic. So you gotta just kind of bring it down and kind of humble it a little bit. It was not easy. It's still not an easy road, but I will say I try everything in my power not to end up back where I was then, because honestly, there were so many times where I just wanted to give up. Like, I just didn't know what to do, like, and I was just going in circles. So I am forever grateful that I've made it to where I am now. So stay tuned for more, and can't wait for you guys to come back.
Who is he? Girl, motherfucker, I'm so different. Nothing like them other niggas. Nothing like them other niggas.